there's trouble. G.I. Joe is there. G.I. Joe.
Hey, welcome to Half the Battle. You know, it's about time we got back to the cartoon.
And we're continuing our look at the Mass Device miniseries. Now, since we've already done episode 1, I guess we'll go with episode 2 today.
Seems logical.
Quick recap. In part 1, Cobra built a giant transporter from Star Trek that needed 3 rare elements to work. The Joes vowed to make their own transporter to counter this. These things are called mass devices, hence the overall title. Also, Duke got captured.
So now, let's dig into episode 2, Slave of the Cobra Master.
We pick up where we left off, the cliffhanger of episode 1 with Duke fighting not He-Man. Their movements are being controlled by Cobra Commander and Destro, who is smart enough to realize he should just let Duke fight for himself. This works here, but if I drop the controller in Mortal Kombat, it doesn't, I can assure you. Meanwhile, Dr. Vandermeer, the guy who designed the mass device, is gonna build one for the Joes. But he tells them they need to find the 3 elements that make it work. The first one is a radioactive crystal found in the Arctic. Back with Cobra, Duke defeats legally distinct Not Conan and tries to go for the bad guys, but they're having none of that.
Great!
He's only saved because the bad guys get distracted when they learn the world will not surrender to them, and the Joes are building their own transporter. So he wins because his opponent AFK'd out, I guess. Selena, a slave girl who's thirsty for Duke, tells him a strip of gold will interrupt the mind control headband and tells him where to go to escape.
When you flee, make for the great cobra's mouth.
Also, for some reason, Cobra employs an executioner from the Middle Ages. Seriously, what's up with that guy? Meanwhile, the Joes have made it to the Arctic and show off the polar battle bear as well as introduce us to Snow Job.
Yeah, here's where it becomes obvious that this is a giant toy commercial.
The reason they go all over the globe in this miniseries is so they can show off the toys for different environments, like cold weather and in the water. It's really unsubtle and happens in almost every one of these miniseries. Anyway, they arrive at the mine with Cobra not far behind. This isn't an advantage though, as Cobra has been there before when they got the first batch of the crystals.
Why they didn't take more, I have no idea.
Or, come to think of it, why didn't they use the mass device to teleport all the remaining rare stuff they needed to them? And if they couldn't, well, there should have been a technobabble explanation in there somewhere. Like the stuff is too volatile to teleport or something. At least on Star Trek you had Scotty going, "You cannot change the laws of physics!"
Okay, I'm getting off topic here.
The point is, Cobra left robots behind as guards. And yes, they are robots here, even though in the toy line they were battle armor that had to be worn by another figure, so the cartoon took some liberties with the concept here. Meanwhile, Cobra Commander has taken over every TV in the world, as he is wont to do, to provide a show of force to the world. To be specific, he transports all Russian troops that were on parade in Moscow's Red Square to his arena.
Kinda risky if you ask me, considering they're all armed.
But they surrender without making a fuss nevertheless. Maybe they didn't have bullets or something, I don't know. The commander then orders all world leaders to meet on an island. All this teleporting does mean their supplies for the device are running low. Back in the Arctic cave of Robot Doom, the Joes walk right into a trap and are in trouble. I should point out that Flash, the laser trooper, appears to be using a flamethrower. That's probably because since everybody else is already using lasers, they needed something to distinguish him. They do manage to deal with the robots, and Snake Eyes goes after the crystals. It's interesting that the transport thingy is green, a color associated with the Joes, but this is a Cobra vehicle, which are usually black or blue. Back at Cobra HQ, the Commander and Destro are continuing their Super Smash Bros. Tournament, but they're having a heated gamer moment arguing over their priorities, giving Duke the chance to use his gold strip, and that causes this to happen.
I have no idea how to respond to this.
The technology in this episode was already pretty unbelievable, but I feel that at this point the laws of physics got up out of their seats, packed their bags, and left in a huff.
We've gone straight to it might as well be magic here.
Duke makes a run for it, taking out several Cobra troops, and gets to the big Cobra head Selena mentioned, where he meets up with her. She leads him to the gliders, but doesn't go with him?
What'll happen to you?
I know secret ways back to the slave pens.
Look, maybe she has a good reason, but this still feels dumb to me. Duke gives her his ring, so I guess they're engaged now, and he's off. Cobra is in hot pursuit though.
But enough about that.
We have to get back to Scarlet's team because they have troubles of their own, since Major Blood and his troops have arrived at the cave, leaving them between a radioactive rock and a hard place. To make matters worse,
An explosive charge was placed in the mine for an occasion just like this.
the explosion creates radioactive gas that'll soon engulf them. Snake Eyes saves them by sacrificing himself, bringing a shield down. Okay, that's very noble and all, but I'm pretty sure he still had time to run under the thing and blast it, and then get to the safe side. Lowering the shield opens up an escape hatch for the Joes.
We'll never forget you. What you've done, Snake Eyes.
Now where have I seen that before?
Live long and prosper.
And Wrath of Khan came out a year before this cartoon. Still, it might be a coincidence? They make it out without any crystals though. Meanwhile, Duke's been hunted so long it's now daylight there, wherever there is, and crashes his glider, only to fall down a tree and conveniently into the open cockpit of a Hiss tank.
That's quite a lucky break, isn't it?
He takes the tank into a swamp, and for a split second we see what must have been an early prototype of the water moccasin, which is a cool little Easter egg. He crashes the tank and ends up in the swamp.
He's had it.
Hi there, inept guards!
Nah, you don't have to go check to see if he's drowned. I'm sure we'll never see him again.
Or at least not for 3 seconds.
Yeah, it takes just a couple of seconds before he crawls out. Those guys must have like zero peripheral vision or something, and they're deaf. He stumbles away, and then the Joes somehow find him and put him on a rescue helicopter.
I'm not kidding!
It goes straight from Duke to the helicopter landing with him in it. I didn't make that edit! And they don't explain how they found him. Also in that missing scene, I guess he got knocked on the head since he has amnesia now all of a sudden.
It's no use. I can't remember anything except a face. A beautiful face.
At least his dick remembers.
While that is going on, the world leaders have gathered like dumbasses because the commander told them to, so they get beamed up faster than you can say it's a trap and are turned into slaves, ending this episode and part 2 of the mass device.
And that was Slave of the Cobra Master.
Overall, it was a good continuation of the story and makes you wonder what will happen next. The science fiction aspect has gone full fiction though, with the tech used just being magic for all intents and purposes. For example,
I don't pick up any life form readings. There's some funny blips on my scope.
yeah, a metal detector must be great at picking up life signs. Maybe that's why so many Star Trek ships look like one.
Okay, I admit that was nitpicky.
To be honest, there's only just one thing that really bothered me. Look, this is a 5-part miniseries, with about 100 minutes of runtime, not counting opening and closing credits.
You would think that this gave them more than enough time to tell a full story.
And yet there's that entire missing scene with Duke. Considering this is G.I. Joe's grand debut on television, I didn't expect such a glaring omission. Still, it was a good episode, making you hungry for more.
Though, considering my cartoon review schedule, that could be a while.
But hey, the whole miniseries is on Hasbro's YouTube channel, so if you haven't seen it by now, that's on you.
Well, I'll see you next time, everybody. And hey, why not like, share, and subscribe if that's your thing?
He'll fight for freedom wherever there's trouble. G.I. Joe is there. G.I. Joe.
If you're wondering why I haven't mentioned that Cover Girl is blonde in this miniseries, that's because I'm saving that for when I review her character.